Hello. I'm sorry for the drastic change in visuals, by which of course I mean that my shirt and jumper have both changed colour, but there are some problems with my camera, and so I'm having to film this actually the day before episode 2 comes out, which means it may not even be up before that episode, so actually some of the things that are in this video may or may not have already come true, but I promise you I haven't watched the episodes. I promise. Yes, let's get back into it before anything else. Before I go off another tangent. Last question was, is it going to be a great council? Yes. To sum that up, I think there is. Don't need more explanation. I feel like I already covered most of that. Question 64. Will Danny accidentally set off wildfire in King's Landing? Quite possibly. Yes, I think that might be quite interesting. As something that the show could do. I'm not quite sure where. I don't think it would be the Red Keep. There's none Deceptive Baylor now, obviously, because it's already been blown up. So I don't really know where it could be, but it might be interesting. Bridge4 suggests under the Dragon Pit, and I think that might work. Question 65. Will there be a new Dragon Glass wall? No. Question 66 and 67. Will either Sir Jorah Mormont or Sir Jaime Lannister be the new Lord Commander of the Night's Watch? No, I don't think there'll be a Night's Watch, so you can't have a Lord Commander. Question 68. Will an arrow deliver the final blow to the Night King? Possibly. Because symbolism. Possibly. It might be an arrow head rather than an actual arrow, which might be more interesting if someone has to do it up close and personal, because he's too well protected to actually fire an arrow towards. But I don't know. I think it might be nice though if it was sort of more kind of one-on-one, because the show, as I said before, I don't think is going for the healing element. It might do, but I don't think it is. So it's probably going to be Jon versus the Night King, because that's kind of what people want to see. People want to see that fight, and the show now is very much about spectacle rather than necessarily about things making logical sense, as we see with things like Dawn, for example. The next few questions are: does Brienne survive? I think she probably will, and she'll be knighted, like I said before. Does Davos survive? Yes, I think he'd make a good like a good advisor to the infant king, like a good, I can't remember what they're called now, a good regent. I think he might make a good regent because he isn't from the kind of upper class. I think it might make sense for him to stand in one of those roles. I think it actually might make sense if there's sort of like a council of regents rather than just one regent, so they act a bit like a small council but they all have a say. I think Davos should be on that. I think Samwell should be on that as well, which is why, going back to when I was cut off in the first half of the video, it's why I don't really like the idea of Samwell being given the Reach. But I think the Tullys are the only other family we know of from the Reach, in the show at least. There we go. Will Tormund survive? I hope so. I like Tormund. Although probably not. If you're looking for characters who are expendable, Tormund's definitely one of them. Although he didn't die in Season 7, when he probably should have done. So, who knows. Will Varys survive? No. No, I don't think he will. Because Melisandre said that he was going to die in Westeros. And so is she. So I think they're both going to die by the end of the season. Will Jorah survive? I hope so. I like Sir Jorah Mormont. Although I can't really envision a role for him to play in the future. Everyone else I sort of go, oh, he could be this, and they could be this. I'm not too sure about Jorah. Oh, I guess he could be, the captain of the Kingsguard or something. Something like that. But I'm not too sure. I feel like again, Jorah's probably a character that is expendable because fans like him, but they don't like him a lot. He's not like Brienne. People are like, no, we love Brienne, we don't kill her off. Jorah, you're like, we like Jorah, but if he died, it would mean something to the other characters, the people like Danny, and even someone like John, who obviously spent a lot of time with Jorah's dad. But I don't think it would mean as much to viewers, so viewers wouldn't be as upset than if, you know, a fan favourite character died. Will Gilly survive? Yes. I hope so. Will Gendry survive? Yes. Yes, I hope that Gendry becomes legitimised and becomes a Lord of Storm's End, because why not? Let's have a happy ending for some people, at least. Does Missandei survive? I hope so. I hope so. Again, I think it'd be quite nice if she was on the council I talked about that was sort of ruling in the baby king's stead. Does Grey Worm survive? No, I don't think he does. I think him and Missandei are far too much in love, and that doesn't really bode well for TV characters normally, so he's probably going to die. Does Sandor Clegane survive? No, I've already gone over that. Does Bronn survive? I kind of hope so. I like Bronn. Again, Bronn's one of those characters that could have been killed off by now, and possibly should have been, but he's a fan favourite, so possibly not. But it would make sense for him to die. Again, he's one of those characters that's kind of expendable. Although maybe he should survive, and he can get the twins, and then he gets the 2 castles he's always wanted. Question 80 is, does Dolorous Ed survive? Probably not. He isn't enough of a main... Although, actually, he's not enough of a main character, but I feel like actually, if he survived, he could add a bit of humour, because he's kind of dry wit that he's sort of, you know, that he's known for. I think might be quite sort of poignant at the end once, you know, a whole group of people are dead. So, actually, maybe he should survive. Will he? That's a different matter, but he probably should. Does Euron survive? No, no. Theon's going to kill Euron. Why not? I can't see Euron surviving. I'd like him to, he's pretty cool, but no. Do Theon and Yara survive? Yes, I think they probably both do. Question 84, does Podrick Payne survive? Yes. Yes, I think he will stay on to be Brienne's squire once she's knighted. So, kind of has to be alive for that. Does Melisandre survive? No. No, I think she probably doesn't survive. Because, like I said with Varys, she said they're both going to die there, so... And, like I said, I think she's going to give her life up for Arya. So, no, she won't. Will Qyburn survive? No. I can't see him wrangling his way out of that. Although I guess he did help Jaime, so Jaime might have some sympathy for him. So maybe he will. Maybe he'll, you know, wiggle his way out of it. Maybe he will survive. He hasn't actually done anything to wrong any of the main characters. So maybe he will. Does Mira Reed survive? I don't know. Well, I hope so. I hope Howland has at least one heir. And then she can, you know, she can go up and be with Bran. I mean, not be with Bran, but she can, you know, she can remain close to Bran. In whatever sense you wish to take that. Question 88. Is the Night King's name Jon Snow? I'm not sure. We'll find out. This is, again, like I was saying previously, it's one of those things. I don't think this show is going to dwell on too much of the mythology, because I don't think enough people watching the show care at this point. I feel like there's a lot of people who don't read the books, and so I don't know why I don't see why they should be expected to care about the Night King's backstory. To them, the Night King is just the big bad guy. I know, you know, the Night King shouldn't be that, but that's what the show has become. We've all seen clips of those people watching it in bars and screaming every time a dragon appears. People like that ruin the show. Sorry, people like that ruin the show, which is the thing. They make it all about the spectacle, and so I don't think they're going to delve into much about the Night King's past. Although I have watched some videos that could prove that his name was Jon Snow at some point. So I guess that might be a thing in the books, but in the show, no. Or even if it is, we won't find out. Question 89. Where does Samwell Tarly end up? And the options given are The Wall, the Citadel, Horn Hill, High Garden, or Other. I think it's probably Other. I'd like him to end up at King's Landing, like I said, in the sort of council. I don't think the Wall will exist. He found the Citadel far too boring. I don't think he'll end up living in High Garden, because like I said, I don't really want him to be in charge of the Reach. I don't think that's a good ending for Sam's character, to suddenly just be in charge of the Reach. Or even really to just be in charge of Horn Hill. He might leave that to his sister, because I think that once Daenerys is in power, there's a lot in the show about sort of female empowerment, so I think it might just be, they might get rid of the idea of something passing on only through the male line. So Sam might be able to stick to the fact that he actually gave up his right to inherit, and so for and so therefore rather the titles and everything that goes with Horn Hill pass to his sister, and then he can go off and be part of this council that rules in place of the child prince. Question 90. Will Arya slide through the mountain's legs? Yes, possibly, because there's that one line at one point where she does it to a fat guard in A Game of Thrones. I don't know if I mentioned this before, I am currently reading A Game of Thrones. I'm about halfway through it. So my book knowledge isn't great. My book knowledge is basically garnered from watching other people's videos. So if I get anything wrong about the books, I'm sorry, but I'm only halfway through A Game of Thrones. But yes, there's reference to her sliding under the fat man's, and then there's also the whole like Titan of Braavos thing. So there's a theory that she'll slide under the mountain's legs while fighting him, possibly. It'd look cool, why not? Question 91. Will Arya shove the dagger into the mountain's face? She could possibly do, but I don't think that will kill him. I think it will take more to bring down the mountain than that, because he's now sort of undead. So she might do that, but that won't kill him. I've already said before, I don't think she'll be the one to kill him. I think he'll kill her when they have to, and she'll have to be raised from the dead. But she could still stab him in the face with the dagger. I don't see why that would necessarily kill the mountain. Because we don't know that the mountain is like any other kind of undead that we've seen, so we don't necessarily know that Valyrian still has any more of an effect on him than it would anyone else. A sword that's on fire might, so if Sandor tries to, take him down with that, that might work more than just a normal Valyrian steel dagger. Question 92. Does Davos end the story as Hand? I think so. I think that will, he'll be like sort of chief advisor on a sort of small council type thing. I think that makes sense. I like Davos. I want him to stick around. I don't want him to die. That'd be very sad. Does Edmure Tully survive? Yes, probably. He's had quite a sad life since his wedding, so I think so. Question 94 is, does Ned Umber survive? And question 95 is, does Alice Karstark survive? I think they quite possibly won't, because they're quite minor characters, and so hearing that, although, are they the last of their lines, both of them? That'd be quite sad. But it'll probably just be something that's mentioned, because I think, is it the Umbers that are the farthest north? So if this whole thing is taking place at Winterfell, the White Walkers probably already gone past Umber lands, so they've probably already killed Ned Umber. Unless Ned Umber's still down at Winterfell doing something. They've probably already killed the Umbers and the Karstarks. So, yes, I don't think it will sort of be a big moment that they're dead, but they will probably they'll probably end up not surviving. Does Lyanna Mormont survive? Possibly. Although actually, if she died, then that could then create a space for Jorah Mormont to fill as Lord of Bear Island. But again, fans seem to like her. She's funny. She's a little bit overused in the last season. She was good in season 6. She's a little bit overused in season 7. But yeah, I mean, although if you want to kill a child, she's probably the best one to kill, because we know her more than we do Ned Umber and Alice Karstark, so it will mean more. But I don't know. I don't think Bear Island will play massive, like a massive part in the war to come. They don't have very many men, or women, or just citizens in general. So I don't think they'll play a big part. She'll probably still appear, but I don't really know. I'm really back and forth now. I don't know. I don't know what would be best. I don't really want Jorah Mormont to be Lord of Bear Island, so yeah, have a survive just for that. Does Robin Arryn of the Vale survive? Yes. I can't see him getting much involved in the war, so yes. Question 98. Does Robert Glover survive? No, I don't think he does. He is a Northern Lord that we know, and is therefore expendable in this fight. You really can't keep a lot of the side characters if you want to keep a lot of the main characters. A lot of side characters have to die, and I feel like Glover's going to be one of those, because that makes sense. Question 99. Does Bronze Jon Royce survive? No. Again, I feel like with him being up in the north, at least for quite a while, during the last season, I feel like he'll probably stay there and he'll lead the Vale's forces in the fight. I don't think Robin Arryn himself will get involved, or really anyone else in the Vale. I feel like they'll just use the knights that are there, maybe getting some, some backup ones. He'll probably go down. It'd be cool to see him do some fighting though, because he's got some special armor that's got like some special runes in it that are for protection. So it'd be cool if you got to see him fight, but who knows? Does Talatali survive, who is Samwell's sister? Yes, because I think she'll have Horn Hill, so yes, I think she will. And I don't think she'll necessarily be mentioned again, but I think she'll survive. There's no reason for her to die. She's just Sam's sister, who's quite a random character who only appears in one episode, I think possibly two. If that storyline at Horn Hill split over two, it's in two, but I think she only appears in one. Question 101. Will there be a trial by 7? I quite like the idea of a trial by 7 between Cersei's Queensguard and 7 champions, but I don't think it will happen. It might happen in the books, possibly, but I don't think it will happen in the show, just because I don't know. I just don't think it sort of fits. But then again, I guess that actually might make some sense, because if you don't really want to have two huge battles, one against the Night King, one against Cersei, so it would be a way to go, okay, we have this massive battle at Winterfell against the Night King, and then we can have this sort of smaller, like still very bloody, still very brutal fight, between these 14 fighters. And that's how we end Cersei's story. That could be interesting. Then who are the 7 champions? And from what we know of trials by 7, most of the people involved in them die or are seriously injured, and so you can't really have a trial by 7 without killing off basically everyone involved. So which 7 characters would you pick that people want to really see fight, but that also you're okay to then kill them off? That's essentially what I'm trying to say. So no, I don't think there will be a trial by 7, but I'd really like to see one. It'd be quite cool. Question 102. Does Littlefinger return? I don't know. I'd quite like Littlefinger to return, just because I don't like the way he went out of the show. I don't think he put up enough of a fight, and so I do like the theories that actually it wasn't him, it was someone disguised as him. It was a faceless man he'd hired. That, I kind of like those theories. I don't think they're true. I think the show just didn't give him a good ending. Considering he's literally the cause of everything that's happened in these books and in the show. He's the cause of it. He didn't get a very good ending. But realistically, no, he's not coming back. Question 103. Do we see an event that rhymes with the 3000 of Cohort? This is something that if you just watch the show, you'll know nothing about. If you watch those, there are some bonus features that have the cast narrating stories from the history of A Song of Ice and Fire. If you watch those, then you might know what this is. But no, because I don't think that... Because again, this goes in too much into the mythology and the backstory of everything. I don't think the show is going to go in too deep to that. In the book, again, we might see something that rhymes with this event, but I don't think... Oh, by rhymes, by the way, I mean... Or he means something that that is similar to it. So not something that literally just rhymes with like what it's called, something that is similar from an event that's already happened, which is something that happens a lot in fiction, and in fact happens a lot in Game of Thrones. Certain events will rhyme with past events. But I don't think that the show's going to delve too much into things like this, so I don't think it will be included. No. Question 104. Will we see Jack and Hagar again? No, I don't think we will. I think we've left that to one side now. I don't think we'll be revisiting the Faceless Men, apart from Arya, who is vaguely a faceless man. So no, I don't think we'll see him again, because I can't really see where he'd play into the story. And the very last question, question 105, is will we see Benjen Stark again? No, I think he's pretty dead. Because he's Cold Hands, I don't feel like he could come back as a White, because he's already kind of undead. So I feel like the Whites would have just ripped him apart. I don't think that we will see him again. Which it will be a shame, because again, that's something that we never really got as show watchers, is this reunion between Benjen and Jon, which Jon has wanted since season 1 and since book 1, and we didn't get that in the show. And it feels like something's missing there. So I'd like him to come back so they can have a proper reunion, but I don't think he will, because I think he is just dead. Like, not white dead, just dead. Which actually, something, that's the last question. I'll talk about just thoughts for this current season that's already on, because I'm late uploading this video. Something they have to do really well is the character interactions for characters that haven't seen each other. They did it quite well in season 7 in the Dragon Pit. But there are certain characters who weren't there and who haven't seen each other. Characters like Jaime and Bran, for example, they have to do that justice. You know, it can't be like Benjen, where Jon's there, Benjen turns up, he goes, "Get on my horse," and then Jon never sees Benjen again. Because that's not in any way satisfying. George R. R. Martin has said that the ending to the books, and so therefore you would assume the show, will be bittersweet. Unsatisfying isn't bittersweet, it's just crap. And so I hope that because in fiction, in the things that I write and in the things that I read, I really care about characters more than I do about the things that they do. I don't really care about the plots necessarily, because I feel like good characters can carry a slightly weaker plot. Because characters and their interactions are so important, and if your characters feel real, then a show or a book just feels so much better, and just is so much better. That's the one thing that both the show and the books do really well, is getting across these characters. And the interactions between them, especially in this final season, are vital. Because it's the ending of all of their storylines. All the things we've seen them do, they have to culminate in this season. And I really hope that the show, and the showrunners, and the writers, and the directors, and everyone involved, does all the characters, and does the works of George R. R. Martin justice. Well, this is probably an extraordinarily long video. For that I apologise. If you've sat through it, good for you. Thank you very much for watching. I won't say I'll see you in the next one. I don't like when people say I'll see you in the next one. I don't see you, you see me. This isn't two-way. I can't see you via your webcam. That would be strange. Yes, so you can see me in the next one, which I don't know when it will be, let's be honest. I said every 2 months, I alluded to possibly every month. I have some video ideas I want to do, but they would involve a lot more editing than me simply talking to the camera and just sort of cutting bits out. So I'm working out how to do that. I do have an actual job, so it gets complicated, but thank you for watching. Thank you for, if you watched all 4 of my videos, 3 of my videos, however many there are, if you've watched them all, thank you. Thank you for the support, and hopefully I will do more. And if you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll definitely do them. Anyway, thanks for watching, and you'll see me again at some point. Oh yeah, fair move on it. Cut.